Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Evie. I am a multidisciplinary artist who has, over almost the course of my 26 years, I'm turning 26 next week, has really struggled with focus, discipline, and commitment in a sense. For the last few years, I have felt a pressure and a stress over my chaotic interests constantly pulling me from place to place. I have never personally come across someone who's in my similar position where they don't advise to pick one focus. When you find that that's the main piece of advice, I have started to doubt that there was any way that I could connect my passions. And in the last couple years, I have rethought that, and there have been steps, actionable things I have done to prove to myself that I would be capable of balancing multiple different disciplines. And not only could I balance them, but I could find ways that they interconnect and actually empower one another. If you are somebody similar to me who feels a calling to do multiple things, struggles with attention, focus, discipline, guilt, stick around. Some of these things could be valuable for you. Keep your word and keep your cool. Now, learning to pivot is a non-negotiable. Interruption is inevitable. Things in life will change. There will be unexpected bills to pay. You might get pregnant. You might have all sorts of things can happen that can interrupt your flow or make you have to take a pause. And if you are not able to adapt to them and you are not able to pivot, you will drown. And that's just a fact or maybe I shouldn't put it that way. You will struggle more if you are uncomfortable and can't accept this. What I mean by this is, let's say you as a person have made the goal of working out 5 times a week. And one week you were invited to an event on Friday. And typically you work out Monday through Friday. If you are comfortable with sticking to your goals and being able to pivot at the same time, you would just go to the gym on Saturday. Discipline is not about intensity. It is not about motivation or willpower. It is about emotional regulation. It is about commitment and keeping your word. This makes you a reliable collaborator. This makes you reliable to yourself. And it isn't negotiable if you are trying to do many, many things, because your time needs to be maximized where you can maximize it. And reliability, someone who's arguing with themselves over, should I do it, should I not, is wasting time. So regulate your emotions, keep your word, and keep your cool in the meantime. Don't allow your feelings or moods to take precedent over your purpose. Get organized, or you're just hoping. So this is where the tangible is going to come in. I've talked about some mentality things up to this point. I'm going to give you an example of what I have done over this last year. So at the beginning of the year, I focused on skill building and just learning, really. So I would say at the end of last year, I had finally accepted, fully, that I cannot focus on one thing. Because I think I turned 24 at the end. No, sorry, excuse me. I turned 25 at the end of last year. And something about that made me feel like I needed to finally commit to something. And the commitment was to commit to doing a lot of things. The first few months, I focused on skill building. Wasn't super concerned with output. Of course, you are creating in those processes, but it's if one of the months my focus was learning how to draw more photorealistic, I wasn't oh, I need to have finished pieces that I can sell. It was just a bunch of sketchbook things that had very little pressure on them. In January, I focused on graphic design. In February, I focused on making music, learning how to get comfortable hearing my own voice, playing with melodies, lyricism. Uh, then in March, I worked on music videos. I worked on teaching myself how to edit using different editing softwares. In April, I focused on permaculture, which is a total separate thing from a lot of the creativity. A lot of those other creative ones could kind of funnel into one another, where permaculture, on face value, it feels quite like different. And that one took me a couple months of focus. And then I moved back into music videos because there was outside reasons. I had a friend and an artist approach me and ask me to help develop and film a music video with her. And then in August, moving forward, it was much more about output. And that didn't mean output where I was posting, but it was have finished products, have things that are real, are tangible, are physically created, that it was not about just absorbing information. It was about expressing what I've learned. And now I'm in December, and I was seeing and noticing that instead of focusing on one thing in a month, I was compounding and stacking my goals. And the reason that I could do that is because I had set up groundwork with multiple different things, and I taught myself skills that there was like a level of fluidity with those things. So it wasn't like I was sitting at my computer and I felt stumped or frustrated, or I was studying something intensely. It was, I already know how to do at least the basics of certain things. So now I just have to show up and work on it. So in this month, I've been able to pivot my focus from animation to music videos to working on an apparel business. So multiple things. And by the end of the month, I have multiple pieces I can show for it. So that's just a personal way that I have allowed myself, because like the title of this video, where I ask if the slow journey of a multidisciplinary is worth it, it's just part of it. It's baked into it. And there are moments where that process, you'll see the speed, it accelerates, and you start to see more and you start to produce more. And it's a really rewarding period. But there's a lot of stuff that happens before that you're not seeing the fruits of your labor, even though you're doing fundamental groundwork. Stop pursuing perfection. Now, this one is really, really important for me. Perfection has been a really dressed up way of procrastinating for me. It has really delayed a lot of progress and momentum by being overly analytical, being overly perfectionist, and it's really important to distinguish quality and craftsmanship with perfection. The thing that really opened my eyes was a perspective shift about how alienating perfection is. Art really is about honesty, it's about expression, and it's about connection. And perfection isn't honest, usually. I'm not saying that there's never circumstances where nature has a rare moment of something that seems perfect, but the reason that's special is because of its rarity. So constantly striving for perfect everything is so detrimental and suffocates the value of art, in my perspective. Culturally, it is something you see being pursued constantly. It's very counterproductive and works against what the value of art is. Art is commentary. Art is inspiring, not aspirational. Not that that could never have a place. But for me, I've found a numbness and a boredom from consuming constantly perfectly edited and curated images, even if I was to know that it was like real, being so exposed to it all the time has numbed me to the beauty that some perfection has. And for me, I didn't want to participate in that any longer. So coming to this conclusion has made me so less concerned with things being ideal and much more interested in things being created, expressed, and honest. Finally, my last point, because I've been going on for a while now, is chill out. I will bleep that word out. I am still learning, but I would say I'm probably at my most chill. Things really do tend to fall into place. I have found creatively projects that I was thinking about years ago that I have sort of shelved or forgot about. I'm revisiting them, and unintentionally new ideas are connecting to those old ideas, and it's starting to come to life. And that's so fascinating. Thoughts from years ago mattered, and they're valuable, and they're being utilized now. I have heard multiple artists, Pharrell, Rick Rubin, I've heard multiple other artists as well talk about how their work almost feels like something outside of themselves that they are tapping into. When you think of it that way, when you think of it as a signal that with the right clarity or antenna you're able to tap into and you're able to broadcast what that is, takes a lot of that pressure off of you. And for me it does, of feeling like I am the one creating, I am the one things are writing off of. It's my mind, it's my experiences that I am pulling from. Those things just help me access what already wants to be created. It feels so much more like exploration and freedom than it does a pressure to be the one making something. The work comes so much easier and the pressures come off with that calm, intentional reality check. So my call to action would be get yourself organized. That would be, even though that wasn't my first point, if you don't have your path, if you don't know what you really, really are going towards, get clarity. For me, I have probably 5, 6 priorities that aren't necessarily obviously connected, that I know will all integrate at some point, and I'm just comfortable with the slow journey of that. If you have 2 or 3, you can still enlist a lot of these ideas. Be patient with yourself, be patient with the process. And thank you for watching.